afternoon, my name is Jessica Wilcox and this is Lindsay McGann, and today we're going to prepare a festive pumpkin dip for you with local fresh pumpkins.
It's a really easy recipe, especially for like some fall parties. If you were doing like a Halloween party, you might even like hollow out a pumpkin or do like a bread bowl and serve it in there. You could serve it with crackers, or we're serving it with carrots today. You could really serve it with whatever you wanted, bread. So let's get started. We're making a smaller version of the recipe just because we're not serving it, but you guys, I'm going to tell you what you would need to make the full version of the recipe. So the first thing we started with a sugar pumpkin. You could use canned pumpkin, but right now canned pumpkins aren't out yet. They come out a little bit closer to like Thanksgiving, so you're going to have to use a fresh pumpkin. You could also use a squash too, but we chose to use pumpkin. So what you are going to do is you're going to take a knife, you're going to cut the top off so that you have a steady base, and then cut it in half. Take one half of it, pull all the seeds out just like you would do if you were cutting a jack-o'-lantern. Then you're going to take it, put it on a plate or in a microwave-safe bowl, and put saran wrap over it, plastic wrap, and put it in the microwave with the cut side down for 12 minutes. That'll make the flesh on the inside real soft, and you'll be able to scoop out that flesh from the skin and leave the skin totally separate. You could also do it in an oven too, but in an oven it's going to take an hour and a half to do that. So it's faster to do it in the microwave, and you really aren't going to taste a difference. So that's what we started with, and then we cut ours up in like a blender or a food processor, and this is what we have. So we have some pureed pumpkin. If you were at this stage already when you got it out of a can, this is where you can start. But because it was fresh and it wasn't out of a can, it's missing a little bit of spice. So we used apple pie spice because that's what we had. The recipe calls for pumpkin pie spice, but they're about the same thing. So if you only have apple pie spice, don't go out and buy some pumpkin pie spice because you don't need to. You can just use some apple pie spice. So, with that, you're going to start. We've got our pureed pumpkin, okay, which is supposed to be 3/4 of a cup. And Jessica has this really cool cream cheese. Yeah, it's called New Chantal cheese. It has a lower fat content than regular cream cheese, but it really tastes exactly the same. So you're gonna put those two mushy parts of your ingredients together. Then over here, I have, what you're gonna put in is 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning, just the regular taco seasoning that you get at the grocery store, any brand, it doesn't really matter. So you're gonna mix that in. Then we also have some garlic powder. You're going to put in 1/8 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. Then we have our green and red peppers. I'll get to those after. You could use just a green pepper or just a red pepper, but it makes it look a little more festive. You're supposed to use 1/3 of a cup of each. Or you could use one really big one if you didn't care what color was going into it. You're going to dice them because they're going to go in the dip, and you don't want to eat like a chunk of pepper in the dip. So I'm going to chop these up. You could also use peppers to dip in it too instead of like carrots. That would be really good. Incoming peppers. Then my red pepper, same thing. You could do this in a food processor too if you didn't want to chop them up. We also have olives. We got those canned olives that are sliced. If you could get them diced, cool. If not, you're going to have to do the same thing as me and chop them up, because you also don't want to get like a huge chunk of that. If you didn't want to add any of these ingredients, if they're not your thing, the dip would actually come out pretty much the same without them in there. It just adds a little dimension to the texture. Chop your olives. Okay, remember our apple pie or pumpkin pie spice, since we didn't have it in our pureed pumpkin. That's a teaspoon. Then you're supposed to put 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Mix it up. So all you do, tastes better if you let it sit for a little while, maybe a couple hours in the fridge. Serve it up, like I said, maybe in your other half of your cut pumpkin or maybe in a bread bowl, and you can have it for your festive fall parties. So thanks once again. This is Jessica and I'm Lindsay, and we're from the UMass Extension Nutrition Education Program. Come visit us down at the Ruggles Farmers Market on Wednesday mornings, and that's where we'll be. Thanks again.
There you go. See what you think of that.
And this is the recipe if you like it. If you wanted to make it. It's really easy. You just throw
Anybody else
everything
like to
together and
try
mix it
some
up.
pumpkin dip? Like to try a
It's
small
very
sample?
good. Wait a minute, let me make it really good. Very good.
That's free. That's free.
Yep.
And the recipe's right here if you like it.
One more.
What do you think?
Here you go. Thank you. You're welcome.